Hello, everybody, and welcome to our second edition of the Business Lunch. Red Velvet's coming to you. Jared's working on the keyboard. Thank God for him. And today we have a very special guest coming to us remotely. He is a part of the Pac Midwest Rodeo. I want to kick it to Mr. Glen Price. How we doing today, sir?
Hey, good. I'm glad you guys got me on here. How you guys doing?
We're doing great.
Awesome.
Once again, thank you for taking the time to talk with us. You got a big event coming up. So tell us a little bit about the Pac.
Well, yeah, you're right. We got a big event coming up. We're kicking off the 25 season here next weekend on the 12th. We're pretty excited about that, but we've got a lot of new stuff this year that everybody's going to be a little surprised. So it's going to be pretty exciting. Yeah. Nice. It's awesome. So, give you a rundown about Pac, though, how this started. It's Glen Price, Emmanuel Albrook, and Bobby Cunningham and I all got together. And, to throw it back even further, my dad was a bull and bronc rider.
Okay.
So, I kind of grew up when I was young, he was doing that. It surpassed me. I didn't do it. And I was the smart one in the family is what I say. And, But it jumped clear to my son, which I really wasn't too thrilled on him doing it.
That was a question I had about that. How do you feel about your son pursuing this dream?
Well, at first it's about as terrifying as anything can be, and when it comes down to it, you got to be mentally strong,
yes,
physically strong, and you got to have cojones the size of footballs, and then this kid did. Very first show we all got together. Your brother was there, I believe. The very first one, very first bull he ever got on. Rode it for 8 seconds, won the whole show.
Nice.
So right then, his mother and I knew it was game over.
Yeah.
There's no way it stops at this point.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I've come to figure out if you want to make time slow down, there's two things you can do: ride a bull for 8 seconds, or do a plank for 20 seconds. Like those are the two longest things ever.
Yep. That's the longest 8 seconds you'll ever experience in your life if you can go 8 seconds. The average bull rider is like 2.1 seconds.
Yes.
And when they come off that, they all say, I felt like I was on there for 5 minutes. And,
I know. I have the closest I ever got to was my brother built a practice barrel in the backyard, and he's like, you need to get on one. I'm like, no.
Yeah, your brother used to ride.
He did. He went through the high school rodeo circuit and then was at the IPRA and the PRCA. And then, age happened, but he did make a comeback, and I appreciate you guys doing that. For those who don't know, he did suffer a stroke in 2022, almost killed him. And then was it 2023? I think April of 23, he made that comeback ride. I mean, he didn't stay on for 8 seconds, but you know what? For a guy who did that, had that kind of life-changing situation and got back on a bull, he's more of a man than I am.
Yeah, I'll tell you the funny thing about it was he was coming to do it. So he came, we loaded a bull up.
Yeah.
There was probably a dozen of us older guys, we're 40s to 50s. And so he went out and did it. And he did well. I mean, he did real well. But then we all looked at each other and it's like, well, hell, if he's doing it, I'm going to do it. And then so there was like 3 other of us that got on. I got on a bull.
Oh, really?
Your brother outrode me by at least 3 seconds. I probably didn't make it 2, I didn't make the average beginner rider at all.
How did you feel on that bull? Where you're like, did I just make a big mistake? Or
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I knew I was too old. And when you're riding bulls, you don't look at the ground. That's the first thing I did. I was trying to figure out how to get off that thing. And I did, landed flat on my shoulder blades, and I was sore for about 2 weeks. So yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't blame you there. He called me on the phone. This has been months ago, and he goes, somehow he says he talked me into riding a bull. And I go, no, you didn't. I said, possibly. I go, but the social media following and it's got to get really high if I'm getting on a bull. And he goes, oh, you just committed yourself. I said, no, I didn't commit myself to anything. I mean, I let Jared tattoo me on a dare, but I don't know about getting on a bull. So it's like, I don't know. He thinks he has that in his head.
If you guys ever want to come set up your show and do it for the first time, I think it'd be a great idea.
Absolutely. I would love to do that. Oh, thanks, Jared. That's what I get myself into. So what events go on at the Pac when a person goes to the rodeo? What can they expect to see?
They're going to see the basic rodeo profile. We're going to start with the sheep, the mutton busting.
Yeah.
That's a kid family favorite right off the bat.
Absolutely.
We have to cap that at like 25 sheep riders. I have bet you money we'd have 60 to 100 kids sign up if we left the books open for that.
Yeah.
Just can't do it.
That'd be your whole night.
Yeah. And it's one of my favorite things because the crowd just, anytime there's youth in it anyway, crowd just engages, and those kids, they're funny, they're cute. Some of them get excited, throw their hat up if they, make it to the whistle. And, that's really exciting.
Absolutely.
And then we have we go from that to calf riding.
Okay.
A lot of times it's called calf or steer riding, but we try to size the calves or steers according to the size of the rider.
Yeah.
And the caliber of bull they're getting on, of course.
Yeah.
So that's the next step up. And then we go to junior bulls. And that's a full-size bull, not as talented as the big boy bulls, they're just a little more flat, don't jump, twist as high, keeps the moms from screaming too loud,
Yep.
worried about their kid getting hurt, so
absolutely.
They still hurt you, but they're rideable bulls.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then we definitely do the barrel racing.
Yep.
That's a crowd pleaser as well.
Yep.
Them women can rip them horses through there. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
that gets exciting for everybody too. And we got the team roping right now. Okay. And breakaway roping. So the team roping, is there's a header and a heeler, they call it. Yeah. So the first guy will go out and get the head. He'll try to pull him back to the left. The heeler goes around, tries to get the two back legs for the most points. And it's all time to bid.
Yeah.
So
I'll tell you what, the accuracy of those guys with the rope, man, that's impressive because I couldn't do that if you gave me 1,000 chances.
Yeah. Yeah. Things get a little crazy after the rodeos, a couple cold beers and see what's up. So we've had a couple times after the shows where the ropers come down there and a lot of these guys think they can outrun the rope or what have you. And they'll line up. And them ropers, they don't miss nothing. And, you'll see guys eat dirt, just pull their legs right out from under them. But they practice all the time, all the time. And you have to be good at that sport.
Absolutely.
And, you learn on your feet, and then just imagine doing it off of a 16, 17 hand horse, slinging that thing and never missing. I've seen guys throw rope sideways over their head, under rope. And it's just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and that's what, there's a lot of factors. You're on an animal that has a mind of its own. You got to be accurate as crap, but then your target has a mind of its own, and it's very impressive to see.
Yeah, and just think about the training that went on to that horse.
Mm-hmm.
Them horses are amazing. If anybody pays attention, most of the time you're watching the guy throwing the rope and the calf. Yeah. But if you ever watch that horse, once he's got that rope on there and he dallies that rope to his saddle, and that horse instantly is backing up, knows exactly what to do. You can't train a dog that good. It's phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
cool shit.
You said breakaway roping. What's that?
That's for the women that do the roping, and they have a rope, and the way that's rigged up, they'll dally off. Once there's so much pressure to that, they have a pressure clip on it. That rope will automatically come off. That's why they call it the breakaway.
Okay.
So the women don't necessarily have to get as tight or take as big of a chance as losing a finger, like the ropers. Because, you get a rope spinning through that dally and you got your pinky in there. You meet a roper, I bet you 1 out of 5, if you have them hold their hand up, that dude's missing.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, they take them off. Yeah, it just rope burns them right off. It's wild.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's just a timed event. They come out. It's only a header. She's got to get it over the head, dally real quick, and the breakaway goes, and it's over. So, it's really cool. So,
and then
one of my – we got more. There's so much to this rodeo. It wears everybody out probably. Most people try to put on a 2-hour show. Ours goes about 3.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much to do. There's so many different events that you can walk around. It's like a little fair. But I'll get into that later. But
what's that?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm interrupted. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
I said you got the food vendors, man. That's big for that's good for my fat self. I love the food vendors.
Yeah. Well, I love food too, but yeah, there's at least a half a dozen food vendors and at least a half a dozen Western apparel, hats, cowboy hats. We had a guy that actually set up a 21-foot by 12-foot mini barn. It's over there right now, and he's putting a whole hat store in there, and he's upgrading his cowboy hat, his better felt. So people will have some options this year that Crawfordsville doesn't typically have,
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah, that'll be neat. Really cool.
Definitely.
But probably one of my favorite events is the steer wrestling. We call it shoot dogging. They got to start in the chute. They can have their hand over the back, hand up over the top, one horn, and they pull the chute open. And you might see a guy having to pull a steer across the line before he can wrestle him. But once the head crosses the line, the time starts. And I've seen guys with their feet in the air all the way 200 feet to the other end of the arena, man. You just never know what you're going to get. Yeah. And the cool thing is I got a delivery of brand new steer wrestling steers coming in from Texas next week. Unseen, properly trained. So I'm just hoping these guys eat mud the whole way down. So
I'm guessing there's a science to the technique. It's not just brute force. There's got to be
it's like everything else. It's all lever and weight, right? You got to know the stance. You really got to practice it, which we open the practices up for that. On Tuesday nights, we have bull riding practice. And then if them guys want to come practice, we'll load some up, work with them, try to help them. But ultimately, you get really good at it. But a steer that runs 20 mile an hour and you're trying to plant your feet, it's pretty cool. And they're still weighing 600 pounds, These steers, they're not light. And anywhere from 600 to 800 pounds, they got to take down. So you pull one of them over on top of you, it don't feel that great.
Jared, no, I will not be wrestling a steer. What are you putting that on the ticker for, bud?
Yeah, he's built for it. Put him back on there. We'll get him on the books.
How come I got to ride and I got to wrestle? Why don't Jared get to do something over there?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know Jared that well. Does he want to be a barrel racer?
There we go. He'd look good in that. He'd look good on that competition.
Just kidding. So yeah, it's cool. Then we go, we go to the big boys, the big bulls. And that's
main event.
That's right.
What was that?
That picture there is old Cinnamon. He's one of our first bulls we ever had. He was he's still going for us too. He's really cool. And that's old Striker there. He's a good bull. He's fun. So,
yeah.
But we big bull riding is what big bull riding is. It's what everybody sees. You can't slap a bull with your free hand. And once the nose breaks the gate, that's when the timer starts. And ultimately up to the judges to score them. The bull gets 50 points. The rider gets 50 points. So it's a combination of both of them. The best you could ever score, and there's only been 2 in the nation, is 100 points.
Really?
So yeah, and that's like an impossible. I'm surprised there's even 2. I mean, that really has to be perfect on both ends of that spectrum.
I thought 96 was as high as you could get.
You get a 96, and you might as well have a gold plaque. I mean, that's really killing it.
Oh yeah.
So I like to see guys, at our shows, if they hit 85 to 90 point in that area, they're really doing well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How many rodeos do you have this summer scheduled?
We put on 7 shows, one a month, starting in April.
Yep.
Yeah. And they're all different. This year we've swapped out. We're going to have a new clown for the first 2 shows. He's coming from Michigan. The dude's great. So I'm excited to get him here for 2 shows. We're always going to have an activity for halftime, whether it be Ring of Fire, which a lot of people have seen that.
Yeah.
We're considering the wheelbarrow race this year, the poker game. Last year we did the Porta-John drag, where we put 3 Porta-Johns in the arena. 3 guys got in the Porta-John. The horse shaggers, the ones that rope the bulls and try to help keep the riders safe. They go down, lasso, and they have to drag them to the other end. But man, those things will go flying, flipping, and then they got to get out of it and run back to the other end to win, $100 and a shirt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That might be more my speed right there. I can handle an outhouse. I don't know if I can handle a bull.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they both beat you up pretty good. I'm guaranteeing that. I've seen it.
That's true. That is true.
No, we got some really cool events coming, and I hate to give it all away, but there is going to be a little bit of possible miniature nitro circus deal going middle of the year. Yeah, and I'm super, super stoked about that. I just haven't really 100% nailed it down. Right. I have 100% of confirmation. I just don't have the date yet. And there's going to be some really cool people from across the nation come in. The women that get on, the trick riders that get on the horses, do unbelievable stunts and tricks on that, hang upside down, you name it, they do it. It's pretty cool. And we got that coming as well. So
absolutely. And where is the pack located? For
right here in Crawfordsville, Indiana, buddy.
Okay.
You can't miss it. And the cool thing about that arena, I don't know if you know this or not, but it used to be a drive-in theater originally.
Yes. My mom told me that. My mom's originally from Crawfordsville. She goes, yes, this used to be the old drive-in. And that's all I knew.
Yeah. And I bought that thing about 4 or 5 years before we started the rodeo up, but I was like, there's no better place. I didn't know what I was going to do that property. And I'm like, there's no better place because how many of our parents, grandparents, even myself, my senior year in high school, I went. I hate telling people that because it makes me feel old, obviously. But do you know how many memories were made on that property? Stuff we can't even talk about, I imagine. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So my thing is let's keep it going. We got hopefully a few more generations of some kind of cool show. And
yeah,
the ultimate goal is to change it up every time. It's hard to do. We're going to meet a wall one of these days, I guess. But as long as we keep shaking it, I think everybody will still love it.
Absolutely. Especially you're preserving history. Like there's always going to be something going on that ground. You went from a movie theater to the rodeo venue, and who knows what's going in the future. There could be, you might put a casino in there or something. You never know.
Hey, there you go. Yeah. If I did that, I don't know if I'd put on a rodeo. I'd probably be all right.
No. Oh yeah. Are you guys still looking for sponsorships? Are you still you have some?
Oh yeah, we'd never turn that down, and that's one of the coolest things coming up. B&L Engineering and Ezra Construction come together and help me out, and we have a mezzanine going over the back chutes, and that thing's 13 foot high in the air. Wow. It's 70 foot long, 10 foot wide. So we're going to be able to deck people over the back of the chutes. They'll be able to look down and see riders actually gearing up and loading and tying off. Yeah, it's going to be cool. Matter of fact, they're building it right now as we speak. I came from there to come see you, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel like a big person over here.
Hey, yeah, heck
yeah. You also have something new coming this summer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I wanted to mix it up, and I'll tell you why too, but we're going to put on a 5-show concert series. Obviously not the same dates as the rodeos, but we've got some really cool bands coming. And the cool thing about this whole deal is we're going to have local band openers. So everybody gets an opportunity to engage locally into these bigger bands, and these bands here, they're not pushover bands. No. They're cover bands, but they're coming from a long way away, and they play all over the nation. They're really, really good. So I'm looking forward to a lot of fun. We're going to be selling beer and wine and, at these events, not at the rodeos. Rodeos, it's family oriented. We allow coolers. We want you to come in with your family and have a good time, so we're kind of staging this up a little different. We want you to have a good time, but we've got to control a little bit of that.
Oh yeah. Well, you're starting off hot. You got Henry Lee coming in. Good old Brazil guy. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where he's from, man. He's close to your neighbor. I don't know if I think he still lives there, doesn't he, or no?
No, he lives in Indy, but I think his parents still live somewhere like in the area in Brazil somewhere. But so he comes back quite a bit, but that's the way to start it off right there.
Yeah, he's fun. He's an Indiana guy.
Mhm.
He was all about it. I'm excited to see him play. You know, a lot of people have seen him play. I've never seen him live, and
Mhm.
I get the opportunity to have him right here in my front yard. You know, so it's going to be cool.
Yes, that's going to be a great time.
Yeah.
So if somebody's interested in sponsoring, how can they get in contact with you?
You know, go to PacMidwestRodeo.com or Pac Midwest Rodeo on Facebook. Facebook's probably the easiest way to reach out.
Okay.
Get their name up on this mezzanine. You know, like this thing's 70 foot long. It's huge. There's plenty of room to get you up there and get you involved. And we have some killer sponsors, just great. Started on day one, and before I could call them, called me and was making sure they could get back on that board, you know. So I was like, absolutely, it's just awesome.
Absolutely. Well, I didn't get to go last year, but in 2023 I went to 2 or 3 rodeos, and they were an absolute blast. Just a great time. And I'm looking forward to. I'm gonna come to some this year, depending on the wrestling schedule. But I plan on coming and attending and having a blast. So.
Yeah.
Well,
I know your brother's going to be there, so you better be. I better see you guys.
Oh yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there for sure. And Jared's going to. The day I get Jared there, he's going to be doing some event.
Yeah, I got no problem throwing you in, and that's one thing about a rodeo. Anybody can get involved. We're a private, open show, so we wanted to develop. We wanted to develop a rodeo where everybody has an opportunity. So if they're interested in riding in any event or doing anything, all they got to do is reach out, and we'll guide them in the direction they need to go. We want to be the base ground for people to go do big things, just like my son has. You know, he's been all over the nation. He's killing it. He's making money. He did just great things. So I'd love to just keep that going. You know, it's a competitive sport, but we're in it to help them all. You know, we want to see them succeed. You know, whatever we can do, we're there for them.
Well, that's what I've seen. Like just looking from the fan section behind the chutes, it's a camaraderie. Yeah, you're competing against each other, but they're also helping each other. You know,
Absolutely.
You're competing, but it's a friendly competition, I guess. You know, you're not out for blood.
Yeah, a lot of pats on the back, a lot of prayers. You know, before the rides and. I mean, everybody does help everybody. If somebody forgot one piece of their gear, I see it all the time. Or you got a newbie shows up, never rode before, wants to get on, and it's not, you know, for them experienced riders, they'll give them the boots off their feet and help them get on that bull and try it out. You know, I've seen it firsthand. It's amazing. These guys are really good guys, and the love in the cowboy and cowgirl world is just above and beyond. You'll never meet better people. Or wilder, to put it at that. There's a lot of wild guys and girls out there, but it's a lot of fun. You know,
you got to be a little wild to get on a 2-ton animal. It seems like.
Yeah, you just can't be afraid of anything. I mean, it's #1 deadliest sport in the world. It's not like it's a pushover. You know, you've got to be mentally correct to get on that.
Exactly. I was going to plug your social medias for anybody who wants to follow along in your journey. Pac Midwest Rodeo Company and Arena on Facebook, Pac Rodeo on Instagram, and Pac Rodeo Co on TikTok. Just if you're interested in following along with their journey, there's how you can find their socials, and be sure to come to their events. It's like I said, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Hook us up if you need to reach out to me personally. I'm all for it. You're just going to have to lead. Somebody will get a hold of me in one of those places where you come find us. So.
Absolutely. And your first rodeo is April 12th?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we got a wrestling show, so I can't be there that weekend. But
wrestling's good. Wrestling's a good core sport for bull riding, by the way. So
I know. we might be able to work something out. I don't know.
Yeah, bring them all.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. And thank you to my brother for helping make this connection. Thank you to Pac Facebook page for helping me make this connection too. So real quick, we want to thank our sponsors that help us do what we do. I'm waiting for Jared to, well, maybe he's not going to, I thought we had a graphic.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's thank our sponsors, Wabash Valley Plumbing, Pappy's Barbecue, Peak Performance Gym, RJ's Formal Wear, and Stitched Embroidered and Apparel. Thank you so much. Glenn, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you. And we're out of here.
All right, brother. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you so much.